Hey everybody, so I just wanted to go over a quick little what we'll be doing for these cities going forward. Let me turn down my mouse speed here. I'm going to try and speak slower, and I made my mouse slower, which is my two biggest requests that I got from the videos. So hopefully this works a bit better. So the first thing I want to go over is we're going to go over op circles, or I guess like semicircles, and then op lines. I've kind of tested out both of these things, so they should work in theory with a larger group. But yeah, we'll just have to test it out. So we'll go over semicircles first. So for this one here, what we don't want anymore going forward is I don't really want any op circles overlapping the city at all, really. So before, what we were getting here was people were, let's see if I can click, you would set up, say, like they were setting up their op circles like this.
New operation created.
And then do another one here. Something like this. So people were setting it up like this to like kind of reach across, or you were using all 6 zones to like do like say like 3 and 3, and it was very wide. But what we're seeing here with this one is when we have it, when it's far reaching like this, people are, when their blockades are triggering, their fleets are going across the city to reach this one. And then what ends up happening is when the picket fleet's down, the fleet's either taking 15-20 minutes to get back, it gets to here and is trapped, or if the picket's somewhere like in this one, it goes here, clears the picket, and then is stuck. And then the last possible one, which we saw today, is people are putting their blockade circles over the city itself, and then a fleet spawning here, and then the blockade goes straight into the middle of the city, and then everybody's stuck. So with this one, what I want to do is, because anytime that somebody gets stuck, they either have to like retreat their fleet to stop a traffic jam, which is what we were seeing today. Was whenever I see a traffic jam, I'll message maybe 1 or 2 people that I can kind of ID as the cause of it, or the like nexus point of it, kind of, and I'll get them to retreat, and then that'll let people split. But to avoid this, what I want to start doing is no blockade op circles over top of the city at all. Now what you'll be doing, I can show it here, let's cancel this one, is instead we're going to start doing semicircles. So let's use Nexus as an example here. What you'll be doing is you'll be setting your op circles in a semicircle outward from the city, over top of your pickets like this. So something like this would be perfect. So the op circle does not cross over the city at all, and I don't mean, when I talk about not crossing over the city, I don't mean this portion here, because you can see I can put this op circle way over here, and if I go here, the city gets, it highlights the city on there. That part I don't care about. It's this one here, where it's like about here, is fine. This one, and this is what I mentioned it before, but I want to talk about, is your like op lines. So your op line, at least that's what I've been calling it, is your fleet's travel point to any corner of an op. So your op line on this one would be here to here and here to here. That's great. It doesn't cross over the city. If say Nexus here wanted to say target, I don't know, let's say this one.
New operation created.
This one here, the op line would be here, and he can draw a line between this and this one, and it could potentially get stuck on the city, or from here to here. So what I want to do is semicircles outward only, get as whatever you want for the fleets in there, but make sure that any line you can draw between one of your op circles and the fleet that is doing the blockading doesn't cross over the city. If it crosses over the city, just cancel it out, or move the fleet back a little bit onto a new op one and start again. I don't want any time that's crossing over the city, we have the potential of losing a fleet to a retreat or a traffic jam, or more than one fleet, and I don't want that. So with something like this one here, he could go this way, get those 2. He could even do, say, like another 3rd op circle here, and that would make the op line maybe here, so there wouldn't be any crossover from the city, no traffic jam, aside from like fleets that might traffic jam themselves, which is fine. I don't mind that so much, because those are typically pretty easy to fix, or sometimes you just have to wait it out. Another option for him would be going with this one here, So he could go. So see, like it's highlighting the city. I don't mind that part here.
New
So
operation created.
this and let's say this.
New operation
This
created.
would also be another good one. The like this isn't a great line to draw, but it's still not going to get super stuck on the city, I don't believe. But you've got your your blockade that you've caught in here. You've got the picket fleet that you've caught in your blockade, and anything else that spawns in these two isn't going to cause you any issue. So he could go a semicircle this way, semicircle this way. That's fine. So let's do this here. So yeah, this kind of almost this circle here. Now I can't draw worth a damn, but I don't want any op circles really touching this part, or definitely not. I definitely don't want ones that are overlapping past it. That's terrible. It's going to shoot right through there, and where everybody's going to get stuck. So going forward, try and just do just the semicircles, and that should prevent most of the issues we've been encountering. Anytime somebody has to retreat or something, that's a fleet that's not able to participate. We're on to level 7s now, so a fleet not being able to participate is very, very bad. Anytime, these ones are much tougher. The ones we face today, these ones have double the amount of ships, and the ships are better than what we face today. So I don't want that at all. For the fleet compositions themselves, with the enemy one, so like I said, it's got double the fleets of what we face today. About a third of their fleets are pickets. And let me just see here. I believe not that one. This one here. Let's pull this over. So this is going to be what we're going to be facing off against. Let's see if I can get this to minimize some stuff here. Okay, so let's see here. So this is what we're going to be seeing with the city fleets, as far as I'm aware, when I ran my little tests or whatever. So CV3000, nothing super to worry about there. It's just going to carry some stuff, but nothing super bad. 3 cannon chimeras or cannon cruiser chimeras, nothing crazy there either. A little bit tankier than normal, but nothing too crazy. The Callistos are a new addition. Those ones we're going to see pretty, keep in mind, since there is 30, 27, 28 fleets. So that means there's going to be a fair bit of Callistos there, but spread out across multiple people. Shouldn't be too bad, but you'll see a little damage spike from the enemy because of this. CAS 0066 artillery cruisers, nothing we haven't faced before. A little annoying, but nothing too bad. 4 Guardians, that's typically an upgrade from the Taurus or Tundras we were seeing. But that's still, it's not terrible, so it'll make the battles a little bit longer. You won't, maybe not see as much damage quickly. It'll be more over time because of this, but I guess, we'll see with that one, but it shouldn't be too bad. Taurus pulse cannons, this one should be fine. I mean, they're frontline and whatever. The damage can get up there with them. It'll really depend on if the AI leaned into the cooldown reduction or something else. If it's into the cooldown reduction, their damage could get pretty high, but nothing too crazy. AC-721, heavy ion cannon destroyers, nothing crazy there. The ion cannons over time can chunk through armor pretty well, but it's on the AC-721 chassis, so really nothing too crazy. Should get destroyed pretty quickly. I'll come back to this one. The Ruby, the heavy defensive frigate. So this one is going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt because with most people, I would think maybe if you're it's just the way that the battles will play out will look a little bit differently than maybe what you're used to. Because a lot of the time, I don't believe any AI fleet we faced did have the heavy defensive Rubies. What's going to happen with these ones is you'll see the amount of frontliner frigates that you're taking out early go down quite a bit, because these guys are going to absorb a lot of the damage, and if the AI's tooled them the right way, then they will heal themselves as well. So before, when maybe you would see in the opening of a fight, you would just see your ships decimate, frontline frigates or something. This is just going to be another one of those things that's going to extend the time of the engagement out again. Nothing crazy, nothing terrible, but like I said, this one will kind of be the level 7s. I expect to see a little bit more of a war of attrition than typically a quick fast hit. So nothing terrible. The Winged Hussar integrated, types, these ones go straight for your backline. Not super. This is probably the second worst thing on here, because depending on what's in your backline, if you have something squishy in your backline, low armor, or if you don't have a lot of missile interception chance in your fleet composition, then you'll probably see these tear through anything in the back line that's light. If your fleet composition does revolve around things, because each of the like 27, 28 fleets that the AI has 10 of these in it. If your fleet composition does rely pretty heavily on a squishy backline, consider possibly trading them out, like at least maybe a couple of them out for something, because what's just going to happen is you're going to hit the wing hussars. They're going to start, pounding your back line really, really badly, and then you're going, you might not be as good for, the city attack portion of it or whatever, right? So just something to keep in mind. Or you could even, if you've got squishy backline, just consider retooling them to maybe a bit more armor, or if you have anything that'll help with missile interception chance, that's great as well. This This one I like, the Mars Serenitas, the AA type. This one I like the least out of all this entire list, because there's 8 of them per fleet, and like I said, with there being 27 or whatever, that's probably about 220 of these in total. And I know for sure that we have some players with heavy aircraft leaning fleets, like just swarms upon swarms of fleets. If you have a swarm fleet, please message me and let me know so we can take a look at your fleet composition, because these ones are one of the few A-ranked anti-aircraft. I think there's maybe maybe just 2 or 3 of them. So if you have an aircraft heavy fleet, Corvette heavy fleet, let me know, and we can take a look at what other ships you've got available, etc., because these will absolutely tear right through them. If the AI has done even the basic upgrades for its anti-air capabilities, it's going to cause people a lot of problem. Now, the other option here is that if I am getting, maybe it's just a handful, like 10 or something people who are saying they have aircraft centric fleets, then you'll just be going in after everybody else. You'll kind of be coming in at the end, not at the end, but a little bit later, just so you're not getting chewed up right out of the gate. Now, granted, rebuilding aircraft isn't the longest process, but because you do kind of have to sit there and do 10, 10, 10, 10, it can be a little bit time consuming, and especially if you're on the wrong time zone, suddenly you won't have a bunch of your stuff for the next day. The fighters and corvettes is pretty standard. The torpedo bombers are annoying, but even if you have some basic anti-air in your fleet, then it should be fine. I mean, granted, you will see 27 fleets worth of this, but nothing too crazy. So, back to this one with this. So yeah, like I said, all I want to see is just people doing your semicircles. No blockade circles over top of the city. None at all. Whoever did this one already, I don't want this even. Just around the city, just perfectly around the city. Circle. I know that there's going to be traffic jams. Like, say with this one here, if you went all the way to this one, it's going to cut across here. This one will cut across here. We're going to see minor traffic jams, but it's the city structure itself that is constantly stopping us from people actually having to retreat or getting stuck permanently. Or like we saw today, we ended up with I think about 8 fleets stuck on one corner of a city, and if they're not back yet, they might even still be stuck. They are still stuck. So, like we saw with this one here, a lot of these cut over each other, and because they're sitting kind of on the structure of it, they didn't even get ejected out of this spot when we took the city. So they're still stuck there. So this right here is exactly what I'm trying to avoid. I don't want that at all. So that's why we're going to be taking up the semicircle portion, and ideally that should stop that. And then any traffic jams that we do see, because we're looking at op lines now, it should be minor. And then the best thing is that as long as it's going out in circles, when people split in different directions, the chances of a jam happening go way, way down. So that we'll test it out tomorrow. Ideally, that should fix it, and anything that does come from it should be minor. Otherwise, yeah, we're gonna start with Aviero tomorrow. This one the day after. If both of these go really quick, if somehow we're just chewing through it, maybe we'll look at doing 2 in one day. But for now, we're just going to do one a day, and that should give, if we take massive damage or whatever, then it should be fine. Because like I said, with the ship count on this one, technically each of these cities is 2 level 5s. So that'll give us just the opportunity to heal up and get ready. So yeah, just make sure everybody, you're doing your semicircles, no blockades over top of the city structure itself, and we'll give that a go, and hopefully it works. Thanks so much, guys. If you have any questions, just let me know.